behavior. He was on medication. Why was that not? Why were those flags not sufficient to prevent him from buying a military-grade assault weapon? Number one. Number two. Why do we not know? We know what gun we use. We know we use an AR-15. Everyone knows that. But what medication was?
18. 18 with a bullet, baby. That's the number of school shootings that we've had since the first of the year, right? The stunning number swept across the internet within minutes of the news Wednesday that yet again another young man with another semi-automatic rifle had rampaged through a school, this time a majority Stoneman Douglas High School in the state of Florida. The figure originated with Everytown, for Everytown for Gun Safety, a nonprofit group co-founded by Michael Bloomberg that works to prevent gun violence and is most famous for its running tally of school shootings. This, the organization tweeted at 4:22 p.m. on Wednesday, is the 18th school shooting in the U.S. in 2018. Now, I gotta admit, when I heard that, I said, no, this is bullshit. A tweet by Senator Bernie Sanders, including the claim that been liked more than 45,000 times by Thursday evening, and one from political analyst Jeff Greenland had cracked 126,000 likes. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio tweeted it, as did performers Cher, Alexander William, and actors Misha Collins and Albert Brooks. New organizations including MSNBC, ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, Time, MSN, and the BBC, the New York Daily News, and the Huffington Post also used the number in their coverage. By Wednesday night, the top suggested search after typing 18 into Google was 18 school shootings in 2018. It's a horrifying statistic. And it's wrong. Everytown has long inflated its total by including incidents of gunfire that are not really school shootings. Take, for example, what it counted as the year's first. On the afternoon of January 3rd, a 31-year-old man who had parked outside a Michigan elementary school called police to say he was armed and suicidal. Several hours later, he killed himself. The school, however, had been closed for 7 months. There were no teachers. There were no students. Also listed on the organization's website is an incident from January 20th, when at 1 a.m. a man was shot at a sorority event on the campus of Wake Forest University. A week later, as a basketball game was being played at a Michigan high school, someone fired several rounds from a gun in the parking lot. No one was injured. It was past 8 p.m., well after classes had ended for the day. But Everytown still labeled it as a school shooting. Everytown explains on its website that it defines a school shooting as any time a firearm discharges a live round inside a school building or on a school campus or grounds. Some of you guys who watch my glorious channel kind of keep tabs on another glorious channel, the Ed Dana YouTube channel, hosted by none other than Ed Dana. He had a video out yesterday. He's very upset, and he quoted this 18 school shootings since the first of the year, which I knew was bullshit. Now, he went on and on and on. You know, he's got a very leftist and liberal agenda, and has a huge problem with anyone who thinks conservatively in any way, shape, or form. Some might say he's a communist. I don't know whether he's a communist or not. What I will say is that I think at least everybody I know is upset. People are depressed. It's yet another school shooting. And, you know, the leftists are outraged and all this, and of course, there's a lot of people who are screaming, this is Trump's fault, this is Trump's fault. But need I remind you, it was Barack Obama who was in office when the worst school shooting tragedy in American history happened, and that was the Sandy events at Sandy Hook. Tragedy at Sandy Hook. That one was hard on me. You know, any of these things are hard on it, but especially when it's a real, a classroom of very young children. Again, Sandy Hook event was a mentally disturbed kid. If I remember right, his mother worked at the school, and this shooting could have been and should have been avoided because the FBI knew about him. They knew all about this guy, and could have been avoided. I've long said that we need to reopen the mental hospitals. It's not about reopening. We need to open mental hospitals. Again, I'm not as old as some of you out there, but some of you remember when the mental hospitals were open all over the place. And even when I was a kid, back in the early 80s, late 1970s, early 80s, there were still mental hospitals. There was still a mental hospital within driving distance of wherever you lived. There was one right near here. There was two of them actually. One was called Sheldon Center. The other one was called Northville Regional Psychiatric Hospital. And about another 15 minutes further than that, you got into Pontiac had a big nut house. I personally participated in the demolition of several of these hospitals. States defunded them. Democrats defunded them. Now, I don't really give a shit because I hate Republicans just as much as I hate Democrats, so I'm not getting on the pound the Democrats thing here, but as you know, I happen to think that, it's just a fact. Liberalism is a mental disorder. They can't, they're fucked up in the head. They can't see the forest for the trees, they just can't. They believe that, I don't know what the fuck they believe. It's a mental disorder. You can't, you'd have to study the disorder of liberalism to understand where they're coming from, Now, in my younger years, I kind of sided with the, more towards the Democratic side of things until I woke the fuck up and realized there's no honor among thieves. In this day and age, my age, I tend to lean conservative. Things I disagree with and agree with on both sides, but most of the time, conservatism is a good thing, especially for somebody like me, who has past crutches such as alcohol, things like that. Conservatism is a good thing for me. So, I'm trying to improve myself by aligning myself with the things that are going to be most positive in my life. And conservatism is something that's going to help me to be a better person. Because if I had it my way, liberal, and everything in my life was liberal, it wouldn't be fucking coffee we're drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm getting at, I've done this video before. I gotta let the dog in. Hold on a second. Sorry about that pause. Cat just jumped out of nowhere, scared the shit out of the dog on her way in the house. That was pretty funny. What am I getting at? What am I talking about? Talking about gun control again, Crazy control. And I'm not going to go all through this again because I've done videos on this, and it's not worth it to me to go through this again. If anybody wants to have a conversation and get my thoughts on the topic, you're more than welcome to go down into the comments section and you can ask questions and I will answer and all that good stuff. So anyhow, I've been wanting to make some videos, man, but this is just a shitty time of year to live in the Detroit area. It's literally fucking gray outside. It's like living in a fucking black and white movie for about 9 months. It fucking wears on you, man. The fucking cold days, and we just had a whole shitload of snow, and then it warmed up to like 40 something in the last couple of days. Now the temperature is dropping again this morning, but god damn, man, the fucking, like I said, living a fucking black and white movie for 9 months, and man, it messes with your head. Messes with your head. So I haven't. I was gonna do some videos, and I just. It's not that I don't have anything to talk about, I just have no fucking motivation to talk about anything, you know what I mean? But, yeah, the school shooting stuff is, for the birds. It sucks, I think. Like I say, it's, everybody I know is upset and depressed about it. And, you know, I don't know, but you know what the answer is? I've said in previous videos that when it comes to gun control, you're not going to get anything out of me because it's just, I have to say no to everything at this point, because the problem is when you start talking this kind of gun control, they take an inch, they want to stretch it out a mile, you know. I've said privately for several years now that as far as the state of Michigan goes, I can go up to a sporting goods store right now, walk in there, buy, I think, as many rifles as I'd like, and I can be in and out of there within a half hour. You know, they do a small background check. It's over the phone, I think. However, when you buy a pistol in the state of Michigan, you have to go to the police station. You fill out the paperwork for a permit to purchase. You come back to the police station the next day. They either give you a permit to purchase or they tell you no. And the reason they tell you no is because I guess it's a little bit deeper background check, and either get yea or nay. So if they tell you yes, you have a permit to purchase, that's valid for 72 hours. You have to bring that with you to the gun store in order to be able to purchase a handgun in the state of Michigan. So I've said for the last several years it wouldn't bother me to have to go through that process for all guns, rifles as well as handguns. I mean, how often do you buy a gun? However, I understand the extreme side of things. You know, they know that if we give an inch, they're going to take a mile. So, sad day in our country, man. Sad week. Everybody enjoy your Friday. You know I love you if nobody else does.